everyone, and welcome back to YA at Heart. I just want to start off this episode by saying, fuck you, Tamlin.
Yo, we got to the High Lord meeting. And I just, it was a bitter bitch. It was a very bitter bitch.
It was bitterness for me. It was the goddamn audacity for me.
No, it was the you don't speak of my high lady for me. When Azriel did that, I was like, oh my god.
Literally, the ass beatings should have been a minimum, at a minimum 3.
At least.
At a minimum
At
3.
least. Because, to be honest, the more he talked, the more I was like, okay, so is somebody gonna go whip this man's ass or what?
Right, or somebody gonna tell him to shut up. Y'all just gonna keep letting him degrade this woman.
Oh, it was too much, to the point where Alex out there, I was like, all right, so every time I turned the page, I expected, so Reese punched him, or Azriel whipped his ass,
right,
or Cassian done did this. I was like, sat there and I was like, this man just keeps talking shit.
Bruh, yes. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. Starting with chapter 39. In the beginning of chapter 39, they're still camping on the outskirts of the summer court, Adriata. When Reese and Feyre are in the tent, Feyre tells Reese that they should move the High Lord meeting up, and that they should tell the other High Lords about Valaris, and that they should be themselves. In my mind, I'm like, because that went so well the first time.
Exactly. I feel like I really feel like they don't ever have an actual plan. I feel like they always just go off like they just are like, all right, we're gonna wing it. We're gonna try the plan that we had last time with some, tweaks and
with
stuff.
Some modifications.
Right.
And everything should be fine. And I'm like,
guys, no.
I'm like, no. You know what happened last time, right?
We need better planning, please.
When they get back to Valaris, Nesta immediately is like, what happened? Where is he? And
I was like, oh, are you concerned, Nesta? I was like, are you concerned?
I think Nesta is concerned about Cassian. And Reese is like, where is who?
No, wait, hold on. Because I feel like the way Reese said it, the way I read it, he knew who she was asking for, but he was like teasing the fuck out of her. So he was like, Cassian, because they're like forcing her to actually say his name.
And that was the first time that Feyre said she actually heard her say his name.
Yeah, because usually she refers to him as like he or him or that bat or whatever the fuck. Like, what made me sit and like be like, hold up, was Moore's reaction to this.
Girl, yes,
my jealousy was right. Is it jealousy? Because I like sat there. I was like, because when they get her to admit that it's Cassian that she's looking for, Moore very like clipped and flat is like when he gets back, like keep your forked tongue behind your teeth, like threatening her.
She was like, don't pop off with no bullshit when he gets back, all right? And I was like, first of all, who are you?
Thanks. I was like, wait, hold up. I was like, let's step back.
Because if it's not my understanding, for the last 500 years, you and Azriel have been going tit for tat with each other, and now all of a sudden,
Cassian has been
in the middle.
Right, he's been in the middle. He's been the buffer. Now that somebody is very concerned for Cass, now that somebody seems to have, or Cass seems to have an interest in somebody, like a legitimate interest, a genuine interest. Now all of a sudden, you're very much like giving attitude and saying and threatening and saying, don't be saying shit, don't be popping off on him, blah, 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 whatever. I'm like, he a grown-ass man.
Right, he can make his own decisions, number one. Number two,
Thanks.
It's like, okay, are you one of those people where it's like, if the attention isn't on you, then you get upset? Because if that's the case, then ew.
That's exactly Pathetic. What I felt. Like, that's exactly what I thought as I read it. And it further, there was a couple other things that happened later on in other chapters from here on that made me think the exact same thing. In all honesty, like, Azriel has been giving you attention for the past 500 years.
Yeah.
And you haven't done a damn thing in that aspect.
Neither of them have.
And Cass has been the buffer for both for the past 500 years out of guilt for what he did initially. And like, here you are, he might potentially actually be happy with somebody, maybe, or whatever. And like, all of a sudden, you got a fucking issue?
Right. So what I'm hoping is that later down the line, like in this book or maybe in the next book, she'll
Mhm.
explain like what exactly that whole issue was. And hopefully it's not what we think
Yeah.
it is, because if it is, then you're trash, girl.
But then here's the thing though. So the way Moore approached it was very threatening. Like, don't pop off, blah, 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 right? But
Hmm.
the way Amran approached it, who you would think would be clipped and flat and seem threatening, was she goes to Nesta and she's like, Cassian has been to war many times. She was like, he is coming back. I was like, okay, that's the explanation that needed to be had. Not the don't you dare fucking pop off when he get back.
But then at the end of the chapter, Farah asks Reese to take her to the prison, like right at that moment. And I was like, okay, did she realize something? Like, is she gonna try to get the Bone Carver's help at the meeting as an ally? Like, is she gonna try to bring him with them? And of course, we get into chapter 40 and find out that is far from the case. The Carver is still demanding the mirror, and she can't get it. And she's like, I'm not playing these games with you anymore.
Yeah, I give it to Farrah. She was trying to get out of it very hard. And he
Yeah.
was like, no, no, that's what I want. That's the bargaining. That's it. And she realized, like, well, there's no way I'm going to get it. And there's no way I'm looking at it to get it to you. So
Exactly. I'm not
it
risking
is what
my
it
own
is.
sanity for that. You stay here, whatever, we'll figure something else out.
Exactly. You stay in your damn cell where you want to be at, and we'll fight this war without you. Bye.
Oh, but the thing I really wanted to point out was that Reese found out that Feyre, the bone carver, appeared to Feyre as their son. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Because he was like, not just any boy.
yeah, not just any boy, I guess. And then on page 385, when they were still talking to the bone carver before they left, the bone carver says, "What would you give me? Riches do me no good down here. Power holds no sway over the stone. What about your firstborn?" And I was like,
I'm
hold
not
up.
giving up my child. I'm
But
not
I was
giving up
like,
my child.
I
Fuck
knew for
you.
sure she's not gonna give up her child. But I'm like, hold up, is this bitch already pregnant?
Yo! Are
Right,
you serious?
right. I was like, no, wait a damn minute, wait a minute.
I mean, to be honest, her and Reese have been going at it as like rabbits.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
So I wouldn't be right, exactly. I wouldn't be surprised that like she's already pregnant and we're just getting the hints of it, but not the
Hmm.
actual like, oh, I'm pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, okay, you're not just gonna slide past that. This is the
No,
second
not at
time we
all.
mentioned children, third time we mentioned children. Like, hold up.
You mentioning kids for a reason. You're
Right, you're
mentioning
mentioning
kids for a
kids a little bit
reason.
too much for me now. So
Yep, yep.
when they finally get back to the townhouse, when they walk in, Nesta peeks her head up and she's like, oh. She thought she's looking for
Just waiting
Cassie.
for Cassian.
I was like, you got it bad.
No, she really is. She really does. She's waiting for Cassian. Every time the door opens, she's like, huh? She's like, babe, is that you? Like, every
Bruh.
time. Every
Yeah.
time.
I was like, when they finally reunite, when he comes back, I don't want no shit out of her. I don't want no tit for tat or nothing. Just hug him because I know you missed him,
None.
girl.
Right.
So Aaron also tells us in this chapter that they're close to grasping whatever skill Nesta has, and needs to repair the wall. She needs Nesta to unleash herself because right now, like, she won't harness the full amount of her power, I guess, whatever that power may be. And I was like, I'm not so sure that that's a good idea either.
Facts.
We don't even know what this bitch can do. Like,
That's the
maybe not.
thing. Like, now, like, we know what Elaine can, well, at least we know somewhat of what Elaine can do, right? Like, seeing into
Right.
the future and prophesizing and things like that. But Nesta, we still don't fucking know. We still don't know. It has to be something, oh my God, it has to be something great. Like, it has to be something so old, so great. Like, this bitch could probably rule the world or something type of stuff.
Probably.
Because it's just they're hinting at so much. They're hinting at her being very, very powerful, and the fact that like the cauldron was diminished in power after giving her some of its power says a lot. I'm like sitting there, I'm like, all right, so what the fuck does this bitch can like? What can she do? You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited to see what that is at whatever point in time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited to see Nesta lose control and like shit just hit the fan. Like,
Oh
stuff start
God.
happening.
I'm just
And
hoping that she
hopefully,
doesn't accidentally kill like one of their
oh
own.
no, I'm
When
hoping
she
that
unleashes her power and somebody is in the way, and it's like,
I'm
oops.
really hoping that like Tamlin's within the vicinity of that shit.
When we get to that point, her interaction with him, priceless.
The
Priceless.
best, the
So
best.
yes. Then we head into chapter 41.
So this one, I think this one, they're 2 days before the High Lords meeting.
Yeah, figured out where they're gonna have it. It's gonna be at the Dawn Court.
Neutral ground.
Yeah, everybody has responded that they're coming except for Tampon.
So then ultimately, at this point, everybody's getting dressed because now we've like kind of fast forward to getting ready and getting to the Dawn Court, and basically like Feyre's just saying everybody looks dressed to the nines. She says her and Reese, if Reese is the knight, then she is the what is it, the shooting star or something? And that
yes, I marked that page.
So then, is this where it? No.
You talking about
Hold on,
Nesta?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where Nesta compliments Feyre. She actually compliments Feyre. She
Facts.
actually
She's
said
like,
something nice out of her fucking mouth.
she's like, you look beautiful. And I was just like, oh.
Huh?
Hold up. Oh, also, Cassian is back. So
yes.
Nesta and Cassian haven't had a moment to actually like interact. So from what it says, Cassian is kind of making it a point not to look at Nesta so much, and Nesta is like looking at him like, what the fuck?
She reveals at the end of the chapter that she's gonna go with them to the High Lords meeting, and then that goes into chapter 42.
So when she says that, everybody's kind of like, oh, like everybody's stunned silent. Everybody's like, oh.
They were like, you made such a big deal about not going. Now you want to go?
Facts. So then what Reese does is he basically says, well, Feyre was our emissary for, before she became High Lady. So now the job is open. And he looks at Nesta and he's like, how about you become our emissary for the human courts and stuff, for the human land? And Nesta's kind of like, okay. And so Reese gave her a job, a really important job, if you think about it. And I just sat there, I was like, oh, Nesta.
I know. I legit beamed because he's like, welcome to the court. And I was like, oh.
Like,
everybody has a place and a purpose. I'm overflowing with fucking joy right now. And then I wrote down, I literally hope nothing is going to come back to destroy this joy. Because every time you get something really, really awesome, you also get something that's really, really emotionally damaging right afterwards.
I know. And then everybody makes bets. Everybody assumes a fight's gonna break out at the High Lord meeting. This was probably the best little like exchange between the inner circle right now, like because everything's tense. So this was like a really nice comic relief almost of everybody, even as placing bets on at what point in time.
Azure should have placed a bet on himself.
Facts. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. So like it was just funny to see. I don't know about you.
Say it.
But I'm pretty sure that the mating bond snapped into place for Nesta in this one section.
Yes!
I really do.
Literally, I think that's why he wouldn't look at Nesta in chapter 41, because I think it snapped into place for both of them, and that's why she couldn't look away. Because in chapter 42, Moore is supposed to be winnowing Cassian and Nesta to the Dawn Court. She goes to reach for Cassian's hand, and he actually turns away from her, and his attention is only on Nesta. I was like, oh damn, she's big her, huh?
He done swerved out of the way.
Baby girl was like, excuse me? Like literally would not take his eyes off of Nesta as they were talking, and they were having like an intimate conversation.
Like, no, legit. So like this was the funniest thing though, because everybody went to winnow. Az had already left to like check out everything first, right? Before Reese went. Then Reese and Feyre were gonna winnow, and ultimately they stopped because they saw Cassian like swerve out of Moore's reach and look at Nesta, and he's like, hello, Nesta. And like then they start having the interaction, and she starts saying something. She's like, you didn't come to, and then she just stops. Just completely stops talking. And then what ends up happening is they both just end up staring at each other for a hard, long, as if they were the only two there. Moore standing there, and
Yes!
she's like, they don't. Moore's like, they don't see me.
Right.
I see you. You don't see me.
Literally, he's staring at Nesta as he reaches out for Moore's hand to winnow away. Like, he doesn't even look at Moore. And I was like, oh,
yes.
damn.
I was like, I was like, Moore, are you hurt? Are you hurting? Because that hurt.
I think baby girl's hurt. I think she's more than hurt at this point.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
When they finally get to the Dawn Court, it is described as really, really beautiful, like a countryside almost. Yes, how I pictured it was almost like the countryside of Sweden, maybe.
Oh yeah, I guess you could. Yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
don't like... get on me, y'all, because the bitch has never been to Sweden. I've only seen the pictures.
Okay. I can see that. More maybe like Iceland or something.
Oh yeah, or Iceland.
So they meet the High Lord of the Dawn Court. His name is, I pronounce it Thesian.
Really?
Is that how you say it?
We always pronounce it a different way. I thought it was Thesian. Bitch, I don't know. We're not even gonna go over this right now. The pronunciation will take 10 minutes alone.
Mr. T.
Mr. T! Not Mr. T, bitch. No.
He is, I really like Thesian. I think it's Thesian. So I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay.
So essentially, they meet him. He's a very how do you say it? Courteous host. Essentially, he's very nice. He doesn't seem to have a problem with Rhys or with the rest of the night court. And he welcomes them in. He sees Feyre. He welcomes her as well. Feyre immediately notes he is gorgeous.
Right. And Rhys was like, hey, now, watch your mouth. It seemed like everybody's, like, almost significant other was there. And they were all very, like, protective. Well, that's when they get into the room in the next chapter. I just wanted to make note at the end of chapter 42, the most important thing that I thought was right before they walked into the room with everybody else. Rhys was like, you bow to no one. Like, Facts. You yield Facts. To no one. And I was like, oh shit, this already sets the tone for how it's about to go. I
was like, yes! I was like, bitch, we bow to nobody. All right, cool. Oh, so it turns out, is it Thesian? They have wings. These specific high fays have wings. And they're feathered wings. That's what he said.
Yeah. Almost like a Dracon's army.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. And they say that. They said that they're like distant relatives or they're like cousins or something. So the wings are very similar. So I thought that was really interesting because we haven't come across any other high fae who have wings. Usually, like so far, it has only been the Illyrians.
We also meet the other Lord, Helion. I think is his name. Did you say Helion or Helion? Helion, okay. And he's the High Lord of the Day Court. And then Callius or Callias?
I had the hardest time pronouncing this man's name.
I'm gonna call him Cal.
Facts, because at some point I was like, I'm not even gonna try. Yeah.
And then Cal, who is the High Lord of the Winter Court, and that's who Rhys was saying that they had strained relations with.
And this man is married to Vivian, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And Moore and Vivian are fucking best friends. These bitches done squealed as if they was in high school. They saw each other and ran at each other.
Right. They were like, this is a professional meeting, you know. She was like, fuck you.
Yes.
I stand for Vivian. I am a Vivian fan.
Me too.
Also, Feyre and Nesta, when they walk in, they were asking Nesta, I think, about herself. And she was like, I was made by the cauldron.
Oh, yeah.
Hybrid turned me into a high fae. And Feyre says, Tamlin sold out my family, and he sold out the rest of Perithian. And then everybody else arrives.
Oh, before everybody else arrives, though, Helion, Cal, and Thesian, they realize what Feyre is. And they immediately look at Rhys, and they're like, does Tamlin know? Does he know that she's High Lady of the Night Court? And then, basically, Rhys is like, well, if he comes today, he gonna find out. So really, I was like...
Rhys does not give a shit what Tamlin thinks, bro. So after that, everybody arrives and takes their seats.
when they all go to sit down, right? Vivian looks over at Cal and she's like, "Why can't I be high lady?" I was like,
Right.
I was like, Feyre done started a trend. I was like, she done started a trend.
Because Vivian was upset. And after what you heard, what Vivian did for the Winter Court while Cal was under the mountain.
What she went through.
She should be High Lady Cal.
I was like, give this bitch the high lady props. I was like, because she did the job of a High Lord as just a friend. They weren't even married. They weren't even in
they
a
weren't even
relationship.
mated.
Oh my God, as just a friend. You say he's just a friend. I was like, bitch.
Bruh, right. That mating bond did not snap into place until he got back 50 years later, boo. Give her that High Lady title. Stop
Thanks,
playing around with her.
Thanks. Yes.
So, yeah, they go to start the meeting. Everybody takes their seats. And then Tamlin walks in.
Tamlin's the last one. Granted, everybody showed up with entourage. Tamlin shows up by himself.
He don't have nobody.
He got nobody. Not one person from his court. Not the sentries. No, nobody is showing up for him. This man showed up by himself. And Feyre makes a note of saying, like, he looks like he's going through some shit.
Good.
He sits there and then he's like, all right, so let's start this High Lord meeting. And that's when Rhys is like, well, I don't know where you're aligned, where you lie. So, like, do I really want to start this?
Right. And then Tamlin starts showing his ass, bro. This whole chapter 44, I will say this before we get into or further into the other chapters. I feel like this High Lord meeting went on forever. It was a lot of juiciness and a lot of drama, but I was like, bro, this is being dragged out. Like, I need somebody to either start fighting or leave.
So, like, honestly, I thought when we got to High Lord meeting, I thought it was going to be just one chapter. The fact that it dragged on from this chapter to the next chapter, I think, I was like, okay, well, I was like, if we just gonna all sit here and let Tamlin talk shit, I would prefer to end the High Lord meeting.
Exactly. Because that's all this chapter was Tamlin talking shit about Rhys and about Feyre, trying to goad Rhys into, I guess, hurting him or whatever, and then trying to discredit Feyre.
Everybody's like, okay, well, we weren't expecting him and things like that, and like, okay, let's start this meeting. But before then, Tamlin needs to get like his jabs in. He's all like, well, he's like, don't stop on my account. And that's when Rhys is like, I'm not in the business of discussing our plans with enemies. To which Tamlin says, and this is what's caused the whole fucking shit. To which Tamlin says, no, you're just in the business of fucking them. And I was just like, oh my God.
And here we go with the bullshit.
Oh my God. And meanwhile, Helian's sitting there looking like a Cheshire cat. He's like, oh, bet we about to have a fight? Okay.
He's like, I'm about to win this shmoney.
He's like, I done betted on this shit.
Yeah, Tamlin's just going off, popping off. And Rhys, I was surprised that he let it go on for so long. And then at the end of the chapter, he literally took Tamlin's voice away. He was like, yeah, that's enough. You're done now.
God. Wait, so this was the best thing because we all knew, and people have been saying this for like the past 3 books. Rhys is the most powerful High Lord that they've ever had in Perinthian history. They kept saying this. And every time I was like, okay, but can we prove this? Because it seems to me they're always needing help. There's always something. Rhys it's not looking like he's the most powerful High Lord in all of Perinthian, right? So then Rhys decides, you know what, Tamlin, I'm fucking done hearing your voice. You obviously love to hear yourself talk. We're done. To which everybody and their mom looked over and they're like, oh, shit.
It's like a gentle reminder that we are not to be fucked with.
Facts! I was just like, oh, okay. I was like, so we getting a little preview of what he could really do. What he could really do. I was like, okay.
Girl, right. Yes. And that goes right into chapter 45. And he's like, listen, I could have controlled all of y'all like puppets and made you do my bidding and got you to help me. But I'm here trying to be diplomatic as fuck. But what you're not going to do is keep talking on my name and keep talking on my High Lady's name. We're not having it.
It was Az. Az was like... keep my High Lady's name out your fucking mouth.
Oh my God. Yeah, so he does that. And then Tarquin also, this is really big because Tarquin resends the blood rubies, or rescinds. So he's like, okay, blood rubies are no longer in effect. I accept your truce, all this shit. And then Cassie was like, don't expect Amaranth to give hers back because she's quite attached to it.
And what happens? They slightly put in there, they like slide right in there. Varian smiles. That man has it bad.
He's
got
does.
it bad.
He also finds out that Baron is the one who sent the message to
No. So this is how that ended up going down. So basically, I can't exactly remember how the argument started, but Tamlin is accusing Reese and the whole Night Court to be aligned with Hybrin, I believe. And what ends up happening is Tamlin immediately is like, well, how come you guys were the only ones who showed up for the summer court when the rest of us didn't know that Hybrin was going to attack the summer court? So when he says that is when Varian says, I was the one who sent word to the Night Court. So then Tamlin, this just made me sit and be like, all right, you talking out your ass at this point. Because then Tamlin had the audacity to come in and be like, well, maybe you're a part of Hybrin too.
So it was a whole fucking thing. And then Eris is talking about something. I can't remember exactly what Eris was talking about. And he's like, yeah, and Morgan, you dress like a slut. And literally, it wasn't even a flash. It wasn't even a zoom, right? It wasn't even like you could see the colors of Azrael passing by. 1 minute he was on one side of the room, the other minute he was choking the fuck out of Eris. And Baron was trying to like shoot his flames at him, but of course Azrael had the barrier up and he's like, I'm gonna kill you right here, right now. So that was it, basically. Oh, and Baron is like, call your dog off, call him off. And Reese is like, stop. No. Farrah, you want to handle this?
Facts. And Farrah but to be honest, I think they played it very smart.
They did. It was to show that she was established, yeah.
Exactly. It was very much a display of she's high lady, she deserves your respect. Mm-hmm. And I was just kind of like, this is actually a really, really smart move.
Yeah. So Farrah was like, she went over there and she was like, it's okay. It's all right. And he looked up at her with wild eyes while he was still choking him. He's like,
choking this man.
I'll kill him. I'll kill him right here. I'll kill him with one hand behind my back.
Like, I know we all want him dead. Let me just do it.
Right. And so Azrael finally takes her hand and she leads him across the room and she's like, let that be known for the record that we've handed your asses to you twice now, Baron. So just stop fucking trying us.
Yes. So apparently the Night Court weren't the only ones who betted that a fight was going to break out.
Exactly. And what is this, like, not even 10 minutes into the meeting?
They done, the fucking Night Court betted, it's going to take 15, 30 minutes. And it was fucking Az who was the one that started the first fight.
I just want to know where to collect my coins, sir. Where do I cash out?
Right. That was Helion. He's like, so am I getting coins from everybody?
So after they settled down, Tampon says that he has documents from Hybrin noting all of their movements and every aspect of their plans. And I'm like, I don't know if I believe this. Because Tamlin is like, oh, I would never work with Hybrin. I was just doing it to get Feyre back, but I was going to find a way to turn on them. And like, I would never stand for tyranny and shit like that. But I just like, I don't believe him. I don't believe shit that he says, bro. I know he's working as a double agent, and I just like, I'm hoping that they catch on to it sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's also what do we find out? Oh, we find out about Nuan, I think her name is.
I think that's how you say her name too.
Okay. Yeah. She's an alchemist from the Dawn Court.
Yeah, and she's also Lucian's friend.
Yes, she's the one that made his metal eye.
Because she has an arm.
She has a golden hand. Yeah. So she's the one that made his metal eye. And I was like, coincidence? I think not. She was able to create a antidote for the Faebane. And they were like, how did you get samples of the Faebane? She's like, so Lucian secretly met up with me. I was like, oh, he can't be trusted.
I like sat there, you know when you guilty of something and you gotta like come clean or whatever? That's exactly what happened here. But like at the same time, I like sat there, I was like, okay. He went about it very sneakily, but It was for the greater good, in a sense.
It was for the greater good, but also I'm like, so Baron, of course, refuses to take it. And then Baron also refuses to say if he's going to ally with them or not. And he continues to make fun of Reese's situation under the mountain being a victim of sexual assault. And Feyre was like, nope. She was trying so hard to withhold her power. And she was like, fuck it.
Somebody had to explode. Somebody had to explode, and I'm really happy that it was Feyre. She exploded. Her powers came out. Granted, before this, they had decided, her and Rhys had decided that she wasn't going to demonstrate all of her powers, that she was only going to demonstrate the powers that Rhys had given her.
So, yeah, I'm glad that she did that too. She nearly barbecued the shit out of him. He barely had time to deflect it.
She almost drowned the fuck out of him, though.
It continues in chapter 46 because they're fighting. And she's trying to flame barbecue his ass. He's trying to flame her. And then uses fire and waters, like drowning him and like burning him. And she cocoons him in it.
She was like, you either are going to suffocate or you going to burn.
Or you going to burn. But either way, you are going to die today.
Dead. And Rhys is about to be the king.
The part about this is like, it was so crazy because Rhys was like, Feyre. He literally had to put his hands on either side of her face and turn her towards him and be like, listen, it's okay. It's okay. And she's like, I'm gonna kill him. I'm like, whoa.
No, she was like, and then he was, when he says, if you kill Baron, then Aerys is just gonna take his place. She's like, then I'll just kill all of them.
Yes, bro. I was like, to be a fly on the wall in that room and see them faces, baby.
I was like, God damn.
Yeah, but eventually she does like release him, and then Baron is like, "Fuck this, I'm leaving."
Right, and then his whole fucking brood disappears. Helion is like.
Before that, Nesta actually voices her opinion too.
Oh yeah, she does.
Which I just want to make that quickly known because it's like she was sitting there the whole time giving like little snippets and shit. But this is where she finally is like, we're not finished here. We have shit to discuss. And in my notes, I was like, maybe she needs to become a high lady too. Because she held her own very well.
I would not be opposed to that. So Helion acknowledges, he's like, damn, I wondered where that little bit of power went. He's like, I definitely felt that it was gone. And I was like, oh, shit. Because she exposed that she has all of their abilities. Mm-hmm. So Helion didn't really seem that upset. But Baron was obviously upset about it. Oh,
Baron was pissed.
Thesean and Helion kind of were on the same page about it. Tarquin finally was like, that's how you was able to get into my head.
I do like her speech that she gave on page 445, where she looks everybody dead in the eye, and she's like, I did not take your power, you gave it to me. Along with the gift of my immortal life, I am grateful for both, but they are mine now, and I will do with them what I will. I was like, you go off, high lady!
But she's right, though. So really, it's their fault because they didn't realize that they were giving her a little bit of their power.
Exactly. And I think that's a really small sacrifice to pay for saving all of your asses. You're welcome.
Saving all of Perinthian under the damn
you're
mountain.
Fucking welcome. You're welcome. So I was just like, if that's literally the worst thing that you're worried about right now, you need to get your priorities in check.
So after, I believe this is when Baron leaves or he's about to leave or whatever. But this was actually really interesting for me. Everybody had this shit to say about her becoming High Lady, right? Like everybody was like, oh, there's never been a High Lady, or Tarquin saying, oh, Rhys, you've always spat on tradition type of thing, right? Mm-hmm. But when they asked people to stand by them to fight Hybern, the first two people to stand up is Vivian and Princess Cressida. Both women were like, we will fight with you. So it took these two women to stand up and be like, we will fight with you, for the men to be like, yeah, we'll fight with you.
Because even though she's still High Lady, they're like, oh, it's not tradition. It's never been done. I don't have to listen to you. And the women are like, yeah, fuck this. We've had enough.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Vivian's like, I need to be High Lady, so we're gonna fight this war.
Right. Vivian's like, listen, I held it down for you. Where is my High Lady chip at? bro. Where's my crown? My fucking crown.
Oh my
We move into chapter 47, and they literally got nowhere with this meeting. So they all decide that they're going to stay the night at the Dawn Court. In their room, Feyre asks Rhys if he truly believes that Tamlin planned to turn on Hybern and wasn't like actually a bad guy. And Rhys was like, I kind of do believe him. And I'm like, I don't know how to feel about that because it makes sense, but also I don't know if I believe him. Like,
God. I don't trust him.
remember when we were saying it doesn't make sense that you did all of this, that you made this deal just to get Feyre back and she doesn't even want to be with you, dog.
Yeah.
So it does make sense in that aspect, but also like he has nothing to lose now, so why would he not work with them?
Right. I really, honestly, I think Rhys is blinded by the old friendship
I think so too.
in this instance. And so I'm like sitting here, I'm like, I personally do not believe that Tamlin is not working with Hybern. Do you know what I mean? Like that. No.
Yeah, like everything he says needs to be taken with a grain of salt. Also, why aren't you in his mind right now? Like, there are so many things, especially with the loophole that I was telling you about. Why couldn't they have captured the Suriel and been like, hey, what do we need to do to get everybody to join us in this war? What do we need to do to beat Hybern? Also, is Tamlin really against us or is he with us? The Suriel knows all. Why the fuck aren't you trapping up that bitch and getting these answers?
Because then that would have made this book twice as
way
small.
shorter.
Twice as small.
What is Nesta? Did the mating bond snap into place? Like, all things will be revealed by the psychic Suriel.
Facts. So then, once they have this discussion, Helion shows up. And it turns out Helion's, like, aloof behavior during the High Lord is a fucking, act.
I was like, so is everybody putting on the act? Is everybody putting on the act? It's like the only person that wasn't fronting there was Tarquin. Because he's the youngest one there, so he don't know how this shit really go.
Right. So then, it turns out Helion has been trying to get into bed with Az, Moore, and Cass all at the same time.
With the throuple!
All at the same time.
What do you call that? Is it a quadsum? Is it a
I guess. I really don't know.
There's too many limbs. I can't.
There's too many limbs and too many private parts. I don't know what's happening.
I was like, oh shit, about to get kinky.
Thanks.
We also learned some more about Helion's past.
This was very much not a sad story, but I was intrigued. It was like gossip.
It was
that
very
I was like so intrigued about. So basically, the Lady of the Autumn Court, and I don't know what her real name is. I don't know if they've ever mentioned her.
They never mentioned her real name, no.
Right. So the Lady of the Autumn Court and Baron, that was an arranged marriage. However, it was basically she waited to accept that marriage because she was hoping that another High Lord would propose marriage. And it just so happens that High Lord was Helion. Apparently, they had met during some type of festival, hit it off very well, and she fell in love with him, and I guess he fell in love with her. So then, her family, being a very powerful High Fae family in the Autumn Court, arranged her marriage with Baron. So then, after that, Helion never came to her in regards to like proposing marriage. He never got to that point. And so she ended up accepting the marriage with Baron. Now, then they ended up in war, right? So then the war happened. And the story that was told during the High Lord meeting or prior to the High Lord meeting was that her sisters were butchered and Baron claims that it was her sisters who saved her because they bought her enough time. Whereas Helion says, no, that's not what happened. What happened was her sisters did stay behind. They did get tortured. They did get butchered by Hybern. And it was Helion who showed up and saved her. When he showed up and saved her, this started an affair for years. And let me tell you, okay, they describe Helion as dark-skinned, beautiful, black hair, decked out in what you would expect Apollo to be wearing.
You know what I'm thinking? Idris Elba.
Oh yes, I definitely think that too. Yes, Idris Elba. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, he's supposed to be like this drop-dead gorgeous guy. He does prefer men and women. However, he seems to be in love with the Lady of the Autumn Court. So they have this torrid affair. Feyre realizes something as this man is talking. She's looking at his face, she's looking at his nose, she's looking at his mouth, his eyes, and
His
she's
smile.
like,
And she's like, wait a minute.
oh shit, that's Lucian.
That's
She's
Lucian's
like,
daddy!
She's like, that's the same face. That's the same nose. That's the same voice. And then she notes, she's like, and Lucian's skin tone is darker than the rest of his brothers. And I like sat there and I was like, oh shit.
Literally, I wrote down in my notes on one page. I was like, it was on page 455. I was like, oh shit, is this Lucian's daddy? And I turned the page at 456. I was like, yep.
Lucian's dead.
Confirmed, bro. They also say that he's the only sole heir. And Helion doesn't know that Lucian is his son. So I was like, oh shit. So do you think that when Helion dies, he and Elaine are going to take over the day court?
It could be a possibility. And this is why Lucian wasn't loved by his dad. And this is why he wasn't loved by his brothers or anything. Baron found out about the affair. And this is another reason why he abuses his wife so much. Feyre brings up a really good point. She's like, if you love this woman and this was your lover, why aren't you doing anything?
But he also brings up a good point because he's like, she chose to stay.
Okay, when he says that, I was like, yes.
Yeah,
I was like, you can only...
Who says that, like, he didn't beg her to leave him, you know?
You don't know the whole history.
Right.
And, like, the affair must have ended before he found out she was pregnant. Because he doesn't know about Lucian. And so my thing is like, the day this man finds out that he done sired a child. Ooh. But it also makes so much sense because Feyre also knows, she's like, Lucian is the lady of the Autumn Court. Lucian is her favorite child.
Yes.
And it's because it's the only child with the man that she truly loves. Yes. I was like,
To go even further, Helion, his power is, the spell cleaver. Like, he can break spells and wards and shit like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you notice Lucian blames his ability to do the exact same thing on his golden eye, when actually that's just his power?
I didn't even think of that.
Yup.
I didn't even fucking think of that.
Yup.
What?
He's like, oh yeah, my eye helps me. No, baby. You're a son of the day court.
Exactly. I was like, Lucian up in here being very fierce. I was like, this man is very powerful. He don't even know it yet. Mm-hmm. He's too busy being an emissary for other courts.
Bruh, I cannot wait to read a story just about that shit right there.
Him just figuring out his lineage.
Yes.
And him realizing, like, oh shit, I'm actually the only heir to the day court. And, like,
Daddy, I'm home.
Facts. I can't wait.
But the chapter ends with Nesta pulling Feyre away from the conversation. She's like, something is wrong. We need to leave.
Oh, yeah.
And Feyre is just like, no, it's fine. She's like, I'm telling you something is wrong. We need to leave. And I'm like, bruh, she is like a supernatural detector thing for shit that goes wrong. So if she tells you something is wrong, you need to fucking believe her.
Yeah,
and you need to leave.
In that aspect, when she said that and Feyre wasn't initially believing her, I was like, what's going on here? I was like, you guys know that she has these special abilities. Amberyn's been training her on these special abilities. You guys know that she's somehow connected to the cauldron. Why wouldn't you immediately be like, all right, guys, Nesta's saying some shit's going down. We gotta go.
I don't understand why they didn't listen to her. And then we find out in chapter 48, that bad thing was the wall was just destroyed. She literally, Hybern, what she felt was Hybern formulating that plan and probably getting to the wall. But in chapter 48, she actually has a physical reaction to them.
Like a real physical reaction.
Yes.
This girl throws up.
She throws up. She's like clammy. She's sweating. And she has a physical reaction to when they actually break down the wall because she is connected with the cauldron. And they were like, oh my God, like, we're too late. Like, yeah, y'all spent a whole day arguing over trivial shit. Yes. And your power's missing. Meanwhile, the wall has come down. Thanks a lot, guys. You're absolutely ridiculously unhelpful.
Yeah, so then in chapter 49 is when everybody disperses. Everybody's like, all right, we all got to go to our respective courts. We got to go take the people out from wherever they're at. We got to get geared up to like start war. Like this is it. This is not a game. This ain't a game no more.
It's go time now.
Facts.
So they're back at the townhouse, and Elaine actually suggests that the humans below the wall, well, sorry, there is no fucking wall anymore, that the humans go to her ex-fiance's Fae Keeper Outer compound.
All right, hold up. Let's put a pin in this, because Feyre points out, and I kind of agree with Feyre here. Feyre points out that Elaine waited until Lucien was out of sight, out of mind, gone, before she was like all of a sudden super better and ready to talk and stuff, and be like, okay, well, we can just take all of the humans to what's his name, Grayson?
Yeah, I think so.
To Grayson's manor. There's some high walls and stuff. And don't get me wrong, like Alex out there like, okay, but like Cassian's putting holes in this plan. He's like, yeah, but high walls isn't gonna stop a hybrid soldier. Like what? And she's like, oh, but there's tunnels, through it. They could get out.
Right, and Ashwood trees. And he's like, that can only do but so much. We need to have a little bit of our army around there to protect them. And she says they have Fae hunting dogs. Your whole plan, poking all types of holes in that shit. And she's like, Feyre is even like, Elaine, you are Fae now. The dogs will attack you. And she's like, well, no, if you glamour me and then you guys all stand around me, they'll think that they smell you and it won't be me. And I was just like, bro, just leave it alone.
This ain't working. This ain't working. I was like, y'all need to find a different type of thing. Leave that man alone. Give the ring back. That's it.
But regardless of that, they're like, okay, we'll give it a shot. I'm like, this is going to end bad. This is exactly the type of plan that's going to get you fucked over, like at the court of a mist, or the end of a court of mist and fury. Like, you need to come up with something better. This half-assed fast shit is not going to do it. And then also Feyre goes to visit Amren, and we get the name of the creature that lives at the bottom of the library, bro.
How do you say it?
I said Braxis.
That's how I said it.
Braxis. Oh yeah. Yeah. High five. Yeah.
Oh wait. Also, just to further, because I really like us putting little bits and stuff for Cassian and Nesta.
Oh yes.
He gets really serious, and he gives her a knife, and he's like, basically showing her the areas of that could be sensitive to kill a man. I was like, this man has it bad. I was like, this man fucking loves her.
I was like, not the crash course.
I was like, this man loves her.
Of course he does. And Feyre's looking at her. She's like, don't say anything. You shut.
I'm like, no. To be honest, if I was Feyre, I'd have been like, I told you. You should have just came.
Exactly. Like, I don't care. Give me the death glare if you want to. You should have fucking came to training.
You should have came to training.
I bet you her ass will after this.
Fact. So then Feyre ends up going to Amren, and she pulls a High Lady command. She basically tells Amren, like, what lives under the library? I'm not asking. I'm demanding you tell me what lives under the library. Right.
And then she's like, and how would we free Zed thing from the library? And I was like, oh, bitch. What?
Okay.
They were trying to free all the monsters. Like, girl.
Anything to save Reese's life. Anything to save Reese's life.
Yeah, because she's like, we are severely outnumbered, and I know that Reese will give himself. He will give all of himself. There will be nothing left, and I'm not going to have that happen.
Exactly. So then after Amren does give her basically how to free the thing and its name, Feyre's like, you coming with me.
Right. And she's like, now how the fuck did I get dragged into this?
I feel so bad for Amren. Amren's just trying to live her life, read the damn book, be with Varen and shit, and everybody just keeps ruining it. So then we move on to chapter 50. Amren and Feyre go make their way all the way down into the library. And Feyre starts talking to Braxis. And then she's like, okay, well, what do I need to do? Like, what can I bargain with in order to get you out of here? And he tells her sunlight and moonlight and the stars. And she's like stuck, because we all know Feyre, she can't do riddles. Yeah. So she's like fucking stuck.
Not the riddle. And Airman's like, you idiot, a window. He wants a window.
So then Feyre's like, okay, yeah, we could do that. She's like, I could get a window in here for you, most definitely. And that was it. That's all it took.
Exactly.
That's all it took.
Now she has another tattoo on her little arm.
Facts.
And then they get back to the townhouse. They're all preparing to leave because Reese was like, "You have an hour before we need to ride. We ride at dawn."
Literally, that's what he said.
And so I've also noted at this point, Azriel's shadows did not disappear when Elaine was right next to him.
No?
No.
I missed that.
Yeah, so they didn't disappear when he was right next to them. It's on page 479. And
Okay.
before they winnow out, everybody is looking at Valaris like this is the last time that they will ever see the city. And Farah promises Reese that they will see it again, all of them.
Yes. Yes.
And that's where we end the chapters for this episode. I want to hint again, prediction again, I'm hinting that they are putting way too much emphasis on everybody's going to make it. We're all going to be together. We're going to be a family. We'll never have to deal with this again. Somebody very important is going to die. And at this point, I did tell you I saw some fan art on TikTok and I just immediately, I was like, fuck, and scrolled past it. I think I know who dies and I'm really upset.
Wait, who do you think dies?
I'm not going to tell you, obviously.
Okay.
But it was literally like a picture of them holding that person in their arms, and I was like, fuck me.
I would be really mad if it was somebody really important.
It's going to be somebody really important.
Oh, God.
We already know that. And not just from the fan art that I saw, because I don't know if that's right or not, but just for the way that they've been, like, the way that Sarah has been leading us on, it's going to be somebody important.
I agree with you. I do believe something's gonna happen with Reese because there's way too much emphasis going on that like we gotta stick together. We'll be a family. We'll come back to Valaris together, type of thing. Besides that, I'm gonna say I do think that Miriam and Dracoon, or however you say his name, Draken. That's so weird. I do think that they will show up at some point to help because there's a lot of emphasis of like they don't have the numbers.
Yeah.
Like they don't have numbers. I'm really, really hoping, fingers crossed, that Lucian finds the bird of fire and brings her along too.
Yeah, the Phantom Flame Queen.
Facts.
Whatever her name is.
But like, yeah, I'm hoping that the war that happens isn't gonna be as hard as I think it's gonna be. Like in regards to characters dying, I really hope it's not gonna be.
They literally started us off with a prologue of the war that Reese was in. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really fucking bad.
I'm trying to be very optimistic.
I don't know. I don't know if we can be at this point. We just gotta ride the wave and then cry it out together. I do know for sure when we do find out who dies, bottle of wine. Bottle of wine for the episode.
The whole bottle.
We're bottle of wine for the episode. We're gonna invite everybody to watch us as we do it live. And we're just gonna drunkenly talk about it. Speaking of episodes, for the next episode, we're gonna be reading chapters 51 through 62. And I feel like everything's gonna go downhill from here.
I'm not ready.
I know you're not ready. I'm not ready either. And it's like you can see like what point we are at in the book. And I'm just like, yeah, this is gonna be really bad.
Not ready.
There's only like a fourth of it left, so
true. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for listening in, reading along with us, and joining us. Please do not forget to follow us on social media at YA at Heart Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok. If you haven't known or if you haven't seen it yet on Instagram, we are doing a 1.5K giveaway. Yay! Thank you guys for following us. We so appreciate your love and your support, and it keeps us enthusiastic to do more episodes and do more of the stuff that we love.
Yes. So with that, we want to say thank you guys for joining us. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. We love you and always stay YA at heart. Bye.